Yeah, yeah. What they saying? I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shine. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shine. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine.
Welcome to the H.G.R.G podcast. Fellas, it's your one and only Lance, DT, Just Jerry. We back, baby. How we feeling?
We never left, but all right.
Like a fat Puerto Rican, you know what I'm saying?
This is what happens. This is what happens when your team loses right here.
Let me say that again. I feel like Habibi DT. I feel like Habibi DT. That's what I feel like.
I see you. I see you. Listen, guys. Obviously, when you listen to this podcast and you come here for all your content, we give it to you raw, uncut, and transparent. And today, we want to talk about.
DT, you still with us, man? I'm not really talking to this nigga right now. It was something.
Yeah, I'm in here. I'm in here, bye. I'm in here.
You back from vacation? We all good?
Yes, sir. We solid right now.
Let's lock in, guys. Let's lock in.
Until we not.
I'm doing great, man. Thanks.
Hey, best friend.
Hey, no, we're not talking to you, bro.
Doing great, man. Thank you. Thanks for asking. But yeah, we want to talk about renting versus owning, and we want to give you the pros and cons of both. Not just like my friend out there that just gives you the cons of one. I'm not gonna say his name, but
Thank you. I appreciate
you follow, you guys know.
Appreciate it.
You guys, if you know, this is one of those situations. But you know what? Let's give it a curveball here. DT, what are some of the pros of renting?
Maintenance is number one. You don't have to really do maintenance. Something happens at the property, you simply make a phone call, and it's the landlord or property owner's responsibility to fix it. It could be amenities, right? Depending on the type of property you live in, and you rent, in an apartment building or something like that, where you have a gym, a pool, common areas, all that. Obviously it comes with HOA fees or whatever that looks like, but nevertheless, those are benefits. You don't have to make a trip out to LA Fitness or a different gym. You don't have to go to a different pool. Like, you have everything right within the confines of that building. So that those are definitely positive things. Also, like short-term stays, you know what I mean? Like, you're not married to a spot. You don't have to worry about, if I want to pick up and leave, I got to worry about selling it and stuff like that. So like the leisure of not being married and tied down to a specific spot, for a lot of people who do like residencies as doctors and hospitals, they're not going to be somewhere permanently. So renting is like the only thing on the option, or most of the time, what's the option for them? Short-term stays, things of that nature. I mean, there's many times where renting is like the positive, way to go, the right way to go. But you can also make an argument for the opposite side. But those are some of the benefits of renting.
But just Jerry, what people would benefit from renting?
That's a loaded question. That's because wealthy people like the flexibility of not have to be tied down to a property, like your man Grant Cardone. Older folks as well.
That's what I'm looking for right there. Yeah,
older folks as well. They don't want to deal with the maintenance. They don't want to work on their house, do stuff like that. So it's older folks, rich folks.
Yeah, the older people don't like the
right.
For the most part, they don't like the idea of getting tied into a new mortgage for 25, 30 years. You know what I mean? So they just renting is their option. Also, people with bad credit. People with bad credit who don't qualify for mortgages.
Is that they want to live in a rental, or just because they can't get a mortgage? That's the reason why they have to have rental.
I think a little bit of both.
Both?
Yeah, I think a little bit of both, but I think more so they can't. More so than wanting would be that they can't, because they're restrained by their credit and obviously they can't get approved for a mortgage, although they are trying to pass some legislation now where it would benefit those type of people. So I know we're not too fond of those things, and it's a little a side topic, but that is
you don't have to work for your credit. Don't worry about it. We got you.
Yeah, they're going to penalize those with good credit. And,
it's the same. It's another way the system penetrates again. You know what I'm saying? Oh, don't get a job that pays too much, because then you'll lose any help that we give you, even though you're a single mother with 4 kids. So instead of you moving up and go, you know what? Yeah, let me take that promotion. That's $20,000 more, but then you lose all the other help that maybe the government was assisting you with because you're a single mom. So it doesn't even out. If anything, it may hurt you. So you don't move up. It keeps you stuck. But that's a whole nother episode, and I don't want to jump into that shit. But the reality is that these guys are right on point. Older people with bad credit, people that have the finances and travel half the year. And they don't want to be not only tied down to a property, but have to maintenance it and take care of it. That stuff is done for you. So
another one is people who relocate. People who relocate are looking for, like, for example, I'm pretty soon will be looking for a second home in Florida, right? So in my brain, I want to move to a certain place in Florida. But before I buy a property there, I'm going to rent a property there for a short term to make sure that the area, the neighborhood, the districts and things of that nature, school district wise, is what I want to be, because I'm going to transfer my kids down there. I don't want to just go ahead and buy something based off of pictures and not learn neighborhoods and stuff like that. So I'll go and rent first to learn the neighborhood, learn what I'm buying, neighborhood wise and community wise, before I actually settle down and actually purchase something there for a long term.
Great point. That's a great point. I didn't think of that at all, and that's a great point. So there are benefits to renting.
It goes back to flexibility. He's just being flexible.
All right. So it's not, like I said, I want to give you both sides. I don't want to Grant Cardone this, right, and just give you one side. Damn, I mentioned his name. You see that? I can't help myself. I can't help myself. It doesn't matter. I can't help myself. So there are benefits to renting. If you're one of those people and you fall in that category, renting may be for you. And that's not a problem at all. I know we preach ownership and whatnot, but at the end of the day, lifestyle also counts.
But
are there people that rent properties and still own as well?
Say that again.
Absolutely.
Are there people that rent property?
What's the guy's name? Absolutely. I also say, but with the advances on everything that we're speaking about is, they are, 3 out of the 4 we just spoke about has to have money, or it benefits them if they have money. Older folks, second homes, and rich people. That's why they rent it. You just gave me 3 out of the 4 are wealthy people or up to par people. Mm-hmm. The one that you're saying that goes to renting is they cannot own.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's the reason why they're renting, because they cannot own.
Mm-hmm. Now, my question would be is,
aha!
what would be the con to renting a property?
No equity.
No equity.
You're not getting anything in your savings. It's not holding you down. It's not. You can't use it for your advantage at all.
No tax benefits.
No tax benefits.
It's whatever the dollar amount, you multiply that by 12 at the end of the year, however long you stayed there, you basically paid somebody else's mortgage. And like Jerry said, at the end of that, it's like a lease with a car, right? You use it for 3 years, 18 months, whatever your lease is. When you walk away with nothing, and with at least with a lease, you have the option to buy for a vehicle. When you rent a property, 9 times out of 10, you don't even have the option to buy.
Here's your new option. Your lease is up, your rent's going up.
Right, exactly.
That's what I say. Rent increase is another disadvantage.
Yeah.
You have no control of the rent increase. You have no control.
And then, you can't make the property yours. You're subject and limited to whatever is signed, you sign your lease to, you know what I mean? If your property comes with one parking spot in the parking garage, then you got to figure it out what you're going to do with car number 2. toy number 3 and motorcycle or whatever that looks like, that becomes a nuisance. And also your neighbors, it's not a property of your own. You have a common space. You might have people who are upstairs banging on walls, and, you work at 5, 6 in the morning. So the people at upstairs from you, maybe they work from home and their kids just do what they do. And, you're banging on the walls. So, just the inconvenience of not having that privacy, could be another con. And then, you might not even like your neighbors. You might get into a dispute with somebody who live right next door to it. Now you got to see this person every day by force. You don't have a choice. You can go on and on and on, but
I was gonna say that limited control.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really do a lot. So let's say you like a lifestyle that you want to upgrade everything. You have to ask for permission, and if you upgrade, I don't like it, I'm gonna take that out your security.
Yeah.
So you can't do a lot. So
or you better change it back at the end of the lease.
Or you change it back. That's a fact. Or you change it back.
And it has to be to the same quality in which you've received it.
Right.
That's right.
That's I'm telling you, it gets deep, right?
Yeah,
but it's I hope
one pro I forgot.
I
forgot. And I just thought about it right now because we just made that conversation. The pro about renting, a pro that could be about renting that not a lot of people talk about is subleasing.
Isn't that against the law, against the not against the law, sorry, against the landlords?
It could be, but there's some that it's not.
Right.
Yeah, there are some that
in New York, in big cities, metropolitan areas is popular. It's
popular, but it's not in the lease. So you're doing it against the contract.
Yeah, you could be in breach of contract depending on where you are for sure. But, areas and locations where it is legal, and even that it's illegal, it's very lucrative for some people, to sublease. You know what I mean? Because that's a way for people to get into real estate without even having no money, a large sum of money. Essentially, if you can come up with a down payment, first month security deposit, your credit, your background check comes back legit, you could rent out this apartment, get it leased out for, even 24 months. And then you could up that lease to, $400 or $500 a month, and you didn't really do nothing but put down the security deposit for a week or two because the person who you rented it to gave you the security deposit first month's rent and then $400 more. So before they even moved in or you moved in, you might make a stack $400 or $500. It's a real thing. So that could be a big pro about renting as well that I didn't mention.
There's a hidden gem right there.
It's there. And
well, that's how some people Airbnb.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's Airbnb, that's subleasing, but the conversation to that would be, you don't really have no ties to it. Let's say the tenant doesn't pay, you lose the lease. Okay, you lost the lease. You don't lose a house.
Yeah, well, there's repercussions because they can go on your credit.
Yeah.
Your credit goes on your background check, eviction,
rent again,
judgments go against you, lawsuits and stuff like that. But if the tenant doesn't pay the rent, typically you pay the rent.
Correct. No, correct. What I'm saying,
he was saying as a tenant, if you don't pay it,
as a tenant, if you don't pay the subleaser, if he doesn't pay, all he's gonna get is ding on his credit.
Right. It's tougher to go through a foreclosure than it is to have that ding on that credit. That you probably clean up in the future.
Absolutely. Yep.
But the reality is that there's pros and cons. There's pros and cons to everything. And if you're a person that's on Zillow, like one of these guys, like DT all the time, and you're renting and you're looking at your property value, of the place you live in, it can really start to hurt your feelings, especially in the last couple of years, because all that appreciation that happens ain't got nothing to do with you. All you get to do is pay the mortgage down, right? And then the person that you're paying the rent to, which has the mortgage, right? That's the person that's going to benefit from appreciation. Not you. So if the property you lived in went up $100,000 since you've been there for the last 2-3 years.
You're speaking as a renter, correct?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Yep.
I want to be clear. Okay. If you're a tenant there and you're a person that likes to, look at property and what it's worth that's around you and where you're living in and whatnot, don't get your feelings hurt. Don't get your feelings hurt, because I'm telling you right now, $100,000 in the 2 years you were living there, which is not like it's not reality.
Yeah.
Because it's happened.
Yeah.
It just happened.
Yeah.
And now you see that the building that you lived in or that you live in was 800,000. Now it's 900,000.
That's a
Yeah.
fact.
And it's crazy
It's
because
sick.
in certain places in the US, well, all over the world, but in certain places in the US specifically, appreciation is the game that some investors play, right? They purchase properties specifically for the appreciation value.
Yeah.
Knowing that annually there's an appreciation growth of 3%, 5%, 7%, 10%, right? Depending on your market. In the market we play in, appreciation is not even really a thing, right? This is not an appreciation market, it's a cash flow market.
Cash
But
flow.
but since COVID, everything has appreciated.
Absolutely.
Right. So, for example, the house that I own, my primary residence, we purchased in 2019. And since 2019, our property has pretty much, I'd say 80% appreciated higher than what I purchased for, almost double. And that's not even real. That's not a real thing, in our market previously. But it just so happened to be that now, it is what it is. And one would think, wow, that sounds like a decent, chunk of change. Why aren't people selling more? Well, the problem is if you sell, where are you going to go?
Right. That's the big problem.
Yeah.
That's the big problem.
Right.
And your mortgages from 19 and 18 and 17 and 20, those were 3-4%. Some of them even got lucky and got 2% mortgages. Why would you give up a 2% mortgage to go now and get a 6.7?
Yep.
Even though you could do a buyback program, but there's a lot of variables to it. But I don't want to get off topic. But it's just
you got to work for it though.
Yeah.
Right now it's smooth sailing for you.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So what would be the con of owning your property?
Higher upfront fees. You got to pay a little more down payment. I'm searching.
Yo, I want you to really reach. Hey, Jerry, do it for the podcast. I need you to reach.
You stupid.
I need you to reach.
Maintenance costs. You're gonna have to deal with that maintenance cost. Something goes wrong.
That HVAC go after being in the property after 6 months.
I'll tell you this. Renting, the rent is minimum. I'm sorry, maximum. In mortgage, the mortgage is minimum. The reason why I say the reason why I say that is because in renting, there's no maintenance. All you gotta do is pay rent.
You're paying a premium because you're renting.
Correct. So when you own, the mortgage is what you pay, and like just what you just said.
Yeah, you avoid the premium, but that balloon is always over your head. If something bursts, that's on you.
Something goes down.
There is no landlord you call.
So the minimum for owners is mortgage.
Yeah.
The maximum for renters is renting.
Yeah.
Is the rent.
Yeah.
That's a fact. Listen, that's a great point.
Yeah.
That's a great point. That's a great point. The minimum is that a pro or con? I don't even know. I think that might be a con. That's a con for sure.
That's a con. That's correct.
That's definitely a con. So the con is that you got your baseline, and it might be less than what you were paying in rent.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to tell you right now, let something happen.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you right now that they're going to get you. And what I mean by this is that I'll stick on the HVAC. Oh, you know what? The HVAC was there before you got in there and you got homeowners insurance, and, it looks like a manufacturing issue. We don't cover that. I'm sorry. What do you mean you don't cover it? You know what I'm saying? I got homeowners insurance. Yeah, but it was installed before us. It's already, it's older. Here it probably should have been replaced a couple years ago. I'm sorry, we don't cover that. It looks like a manufacturing issue, but you're gonna have to figure that out.
Yeah.
Boom, $4,000
on you.
Like
If you're lucky.
If you have my connections.
Yeah, if you're lucky. Yeah. A regular furnace, like an average, 75,000, 85,000 BTU. Swap out furnace, you're looking at 5 to 8K.
8K.
5 to 8K. 5 to 8K.
But,
and now if you go on,
that's a real situation that happened to me
let's
too.
Let's say you got 4K. You spend 4K. You still got to pay the mortgage though.
Mortgages come right around the corner.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But when you got a team like we got, we get it done for a quarter, a fraction of those charges. Right? Yeah, we don't pay 5-day K, but that's what you would pay if you called.
That's
If
the
you look in the
average.
phone book and the white pages, if I don't even know if that's still a thing, but
I don't know.
if you
Hold on,
Google,
wait. DT, let me stop you real quick.
Google,
Do
bro.
not
Google.
say this on the show. All right. Don't say white pages. Don't say yellow pages.
Google, bro.
People don't even know what the difference is between white pages and yellow pages.
I just dated myself.
Please don't do that. Please don't do that. What he meant was Google.
Yeah, Google.
That's what he meant.
Well, when you Google, those people who pay for Google click words, and they're going to be on the top of that Google page. They're going to be on the first page, the top 4 or 5 people. And you call any one of those numbers, you're going to get smacked.
They paid for advertising.
Yeah.
It's coming on the bill.
It's coming out of your pocket.
It's coming on the bill.
And we'll finance it. 75 payments of $99.99.
Mm-hmm.
Those are things that can get ugly, man.
Financing on a furnace and stuff. So yeah, it's crazy.
It's a fact. That's a fact. Or first time it rains, you ain't catch it. The inspector didn't catch it because it wasn't raining. All of a sudden now you realize you got a big problem.
Yeah,
that's
a fact. Cons of ownership is it would definitely be maintenance would be one. And I think I'm going to tap into kind of a couple of the pros, and I'm going to be the opposite. Buying in areas that you didn't know where you bought. Now you just took a 30-year mortgage. For example, that me relocating to a different city, and I purchased a property in an area that I thought on paper my realtor said it was all good, everything was great, and when I get there, it's like the local pharmacies next door. You know what I mean? Like my kids can't play in the backyard, and I was sold that this was an affluent, very safe community. And when I get there, it ain't that. But I'm married to this now for 30 years. And I might have overpaid because I didn't care because it's for my family. Because I'm a firm believer that you can never overpay for something that you're going to enjoy with you and yours. You know what I'm saying? So now you're stuck. That could be a con. For sure.
I just want to tell you a story. So I my first house I bought in Queens, Jamaica, Queens. And first of all, I didn't have a team. I didn't know anything about buying houses. I didn't know anything. So I put 20% down like a dumbass. Right? So I put 20% down. I get the house. And I'm like, my first house. So I'm like, I don't care. I'm with it. This is my permanent residence though.
Yeah, this is that I made a moment.
I made it. Nobody could tell me nothing. Right. Nothing. So I didn't have a team. I didn't have friends. I didn't have anybody like buying houses. So I get to the house the first night. I don't check. I check in during the day, not at night. So I check during the day.
What he's saying is he did a drive-by during the day in the neighborhood.
I drive.
But never went at night. Go ahead.
I didn't go at night. So I'm thinking, oh, this is lit over here, right? Yeah. Okay, so the first week I get there, I don't even have furniture in there yet. My next door neighbor is Jamaican, and I don't want to talk negative about them, but they are partying from 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. all day, all day, right? So I'm cool. I'm cool. I don't like it, but I'm cool. I work at night, so I used to come home at night. So I had to park. They parked all through my sidewalk, so I had to park on the corner. Right? I park on the corner. I have to go through people to get to my house. Excuse me. They looking at me. Fuck this dude. Fuck this nigga living here, bro. I moved the same year. I moved the same year. I rented it out and I moved the same year, bro.
Wow. Jamaicans looking at the side
I swear. And this is like 15 years ago.
That's funny.
Wow.
That's funny.
Wow. Yeah, so what you're saying, I'm telling you, if you don't do the right research, you're moving in the year.
Yeah.
Don't let that excitement, get in the way to thinking logical and thinking, thoroughly through the whole buying process.
I was 100% green.
I always got a story. Let me give you a 1-up, right? And this is probably not a 1-up, it's just a 1A. 1B. Let me say 1B. So mind you, we do the research. I'm from the town, so I know I'm not one up him. It's gonna be
You
one.
did, you
one
did
down.
say it's 1A, and then,
Yeah.
then
That's why I said 1B. My bad, because it's
okay,
gotta be lower. My bad.
You got it, man. Got it.
So I'm from the town. I know the area. I know the location. I know what it's hitting for. I know it's a good neighborhood, good block. Everything is amazing. I already know that. Cool. Get the crib. This is my second house. This is after I did my first flip, and me and my wife thought we were super lit. I didn't even look at the house, and I'm a contractor. You know what I'm saying? And I this is what I do. I'm houses out right now. Like, you can't tell me nothing. But I was so proud of myself that we had did that flip, and me and her, and I was just like, babe, you go get whatever house you want. Anything you want, you go get it. I don't even care. You like it, we gonna buy it. It has to be under this number though. So, so she finds a house, bro. Honestly, I was on cloud 9 because I was so proud. Because that amount of money for me was
that 70 made you feel like a millionaire. I know.
Not even the 70. It was the mortgage that I was about to get. Like, I'm about to move into a house that's over 100K.
Right.
Me? Like, I couldn't. That to me was like, I was the guy. So anyways,
I made it.
Yeah, we go to the crib. I looked at it. I walked through it. I saw it with my eyes. I made sure that everything was good, like the foundation, the roof, everything was straight. The roof needed to be done soon, but it was in good condition. Everything was good. It was a solid house. I never looked at the house though. Like, I never looked and was like, oh, look at the layout and look at this. I never looked at it like that. She said, I want it. Bang, let's get it. So we got it. We move into it. 2 months afterwards, I'm like, why the fuck are we in this house? It had a 1-car garage, and that's not what I wanted. I wanted at least 2, you know what I'm saying? For sure, maybe 3. The master bedroom was on the second floor, and that was the only thing on the second floor was the master bedroom and a big-ass closet. So all the other bedrooms were on the first floor. So we were trying to have kids at the time.
Oh, that's ass backwards.
It's backwards. You know what I'm saying? Cool. So that wasn't the negative part, but that was just something that just kind of was like, what are we doing here? Nevertheless, all right, we here. And it was on a corner. I hate corner houses. It was on the corner of, like, it wasn't quite a cul-de-sac, but when you came in through the street, like, it went in a big circle, and then you had to come back out the same way.
Gotcha.
You know, and so, anyways, so that wasn't the thing, but that hit me. 5-6 months later, I'm outside. My neighbors at the time, they were older, couple across the street, and I saw her struggling with her groceries. I come across the street, help her with the groceries. Her husband was pushing a lawnmower, and I have a 0-turn. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna cut the grass from now on. And then in the winter when it snows, I gotta plow. I plow their driveway. So I just took care of that just because I was like, you know what I'm saying? If that was my grandmother, I would
here. Yeah, I'm here.
So about 6 months later, walk across the street, talking to the lady, and she's like whispering to me, you know what happened in the house? Like, nah. She was like, you don't know? I said, no. When? She was like, oh, you didn't hear the story? No. What are you talking about? Lo and behold, in the house that I have, it used to be a ranch. Okay. The lady that lived there with her husband, she got caught cheating on her husband. Her husband came home and found her in bed with a different guy. He went in the garage and hung himself in the garage. So he hung himself in the garage. She ended up marrying the guy who she got caught cheating with. He was a contractor. He was a builder. So he built the second floor, the master, the big ass walk-in closet and all that. So that's the house.
Got it. So it was just an add-on.
It was an addition.
Yeah.
So I bought the house from them. So,
and she's a savage. Like, don't worry, you can buy it. Listen, my late husband built the top. It was great.
No, not her late husband. Her new husband. Her late husband, rest his soul, died in the garage.
In the garage.
And then the other one built
And the other one built it after because they didn't want to sleep in the same. I don't know. They didn't want to sleep in the same room that they got caught in. And
savage.
And I'm like, remember I said I hated the house because it had one garage.
Yeah, that one garage is his.
That one garage is his cemetery. Rest his soul.
It's his tombstone, bro.
So I never told my wife that story You know what I'm saying? Because she would have
Well,
been.
if she ain't know this, she don't know it now.
No. I told her after we moved, like right
Oh,
after
okay.
I told her the story. She was like, "Get out of here! Are you? Yeah, how long did you not like?"
So that's also a con. You don't know what happened in the house you're about to move into
That's
as
my
well.
point. That's my point. Yeah, that's my point.
That's also a con.
Had it been a different person, they could have been spooked out. Now you stuck. Like, you know what I mean? What you doing?
Exactly. So somebody can scare you with haunted, because a realtor legally cannot tell you that a property's haunted or somebody died in it.
No, they have to tell you it's haunted.
No,
they don't have to tell you if it's somebody died in there.
No, they don't.
Okay.
All right, let's find out, guys. Let's Google that. Let's Google that for the people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I believe that they can't disclose any of that because you scare buyers away.
That's not true.
Which one? Who's wrong?
You're wrong. The realtor's code of ethics is any known information they have to disclose.
Right.
But
let's look at the haunted part of it.
Yeah, anything. It doesn't matter if it's haunted, if it's got lead, if it has a cemetery in the backyard, dogs are buried in the front yard, anything you could think of. If a realtor knows about it, if it's your realtor that represents you, it's according to their code of ethics, they have to let you know that. Now the seller's realtor,
right? But the seller's realtor doesn't have to disclose it, right? That's what we're talking about. The one that's representing the house, that's the one that's going to know that information. You see what I'm saying? Not someone your realtor.
The seller's realtor does not have to disclose if there's nothing that like is outlandish about it.
Right. But we heard it's haunted, but they can't tell you that.
You're saying the seller's realtor. We're coming from the buyer's realtor,
right? But your buyer realtor shouldn't know because the seller realtor shouldn't be saying that. That's my point.
Yeah, but just because the seller's realtor doesn't say it doesn't mean the buyer doesn't know the story.
Right. So if the buyer, if she's like, "Hey, I'm from this neighborhood and I heard that this is haunted. I don't know if we want to go look at this property." Yeah, that's different.
No, let me give you. This is crazy. I just thought I can give you a real life example. So there was a house on the corner from my mother's house that I wanted to buy. Right. Walked through it, did the movie, put an offer on it. They didn't accept my offer. I don't know, 2 weeks, a month later, somebody bought it. They moved in. 6 months later, it was back on the market. 6 months after that, it was on the market again. A year, it was on the market again. I'm outside talking to my mom's next door neighbor, and they had asked me, "Did you buy it?" Because they knew I was looking for a house. "Did you buy it?" "Yeah, I bought a house over here." She was like, "Oh wow," and I was like, "But I really wanted that house." I told her. She was like, "What house?" I was like, "The red house over here." She was like, "Oh no, is the address 124 blah blah blah?" I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Oh no, you don't want that house." I said, "Why is that?" She was like, "Oh, that house is haunted, honey. It's known. Why do you think it's on the market all the time? Something happened that somebody got this, that, and the third happened in the house, and that house is haunted." I tell you that story to tell you this. You don't even have to be a part of that sale. You don't even have to be buying a house. And sometimes people get wind of that story because if a property, like if I'm a realtor and I see that a property is on the market, 5 times, 4 times in a matter of 3 or 4 years, I'm going to inquire, why is that property on that? And then, just gift the gab. People start talking.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I just wanted to be very clear.
Yeah.
If the seller is telling their realtor, "Hey, listen, the house is haunted. I want to put it on the market," that realtor cannot make that known to anybody when they're selling the property.
That's not true either.
That's what I want to be clear about.
That's not true. They can.
I'm saying that is true. You're saying it's not true.
Yeah, it's not true. They can. The seller. I
don't believe they can. DT.
So a realtor's code of ethics is that they cannot withhold any information that's known. What they can do is they could tell.
But it's not known though. That's my whole thing. It's not known. The only way to be known is if it's only known to them and the party selling the property.
That's it. It's known to them, so now it's known. That's my point. It's like an attorney, right? When you talk to an attorney and it's your attorney, if you say to this attorney, "It's off the record, I don't want this to be known, but I did it, I'm guilty. But now I want you to prove that I didn't do it."
Right.
Attorney can't ever represent you in a way as if he already knows that you did it.
But he still can't tell nobody that you did do it. You see what I'm saying?
Right. So
yeah, but
the answer is it depends on the state. Because New York, New Jersey, and Massachusetts and Minnesota. Shut up. You're laughing, but you're wrong. So that's what happens.
Minnesota. Go ahead. Well, I can't. You just said it depends on the state, so I can't be fully wrong.
but you're wrong.
Well, explain it. You just said depends on the state. Now you said
where's your market at?
I didn't base it on any market.
Okay, so your market.
I bought my house. I bought my primary residence in Virginia. So there you go. How about that?
Oh, yeah, but you're okay. Your
we don't talk about that, right? Forget my primary. Go ahead.
But you want me to? But you're selling Rochester. But you're selling Rochester.
Is it? That doesn't matter. He's talking about his primary restaurant. His primary.
I've never talked about primary. I said realtors.
His primary. Hold on. The story resonated from him buying a primary residence.
I love how you guys move the goal.
Yes or no? Wait. Stop me if I'm wrong here.
No. You're both moving the goalposts from each other.
I said realtors, bro.
No, first of all, nobody said whether it was a primary or an investment property.
No,
that's number one. Number two is
and nobody said nothing about New York.
Nobody also said nothing about New York, Virginia, nothing like that.
I've never said
what happened was Jerry said the answer is that it depends on your market, right? So then Jerry's point was you're selling Rochester. You knew that was his point. So what you did was you said I bought my property in Virginia.
So why can't that be?
You're not wrong, but I'm saying
I can't know the rules. I can't know the rules for where I live at. What if I'm never going to sell this property?
I'm going to tell you like this. I don't know the rules for all 50 states. I know the rules for New York State, specifically realtor based. And I think this is going to be synonymous amongst all realtors, like code of ethics. And the reason why I say that is because it's a national, National Realtors Association, right? And it's part of the National Realtors Association. Basically, I'm not going to say you pledge to it, but this is part of what your alumni, and this is the code of ethics that you have to stand by.
I'm not sure if it's every state or if you have to disclose it or whatnot. I'm not sure, but I definitely want to find that out.
Yeah, I think based off of the realtors code of ethics and the NRA thing, I think they are obligated to disclose that information if it's disclosed to them.
Got you. So let's stay on subject. I don't want to lose everybody what they came here to see. What are the pros of owning your own property? Just Jerry.
You want me to get the book out?
Just Jerry. Just Jerry. I know. This guy.
Yeah. Building equity. You're gonna have something you can play with. You paying yourself back the loan that you're getting. More control of the house. You can do whatever you want. Even not DT. DT's gonna say you need permits. But you can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want in your house and don't have to ask for permission. You can, you do, but you don't.
I mean, for HOA, there might be slight things. You might have to keep your mailbox certain color or whatnot, grass cut. But for the most part, your property is your property for sure.
Tax benefits, you get a lot of tax benefits. You can use that as leverage. You could definitely use your house for leverage to get another house and build on and keep on moving on that. Collateral, keep pushing.
Yeah. What if you own a multifamily? You already know.
Yeah. You went to multifamily.
You already know.
So one side could pay for your other side and you living for free.
Now you can afford that HVAC that goes. You see what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
The answer to that question is just it's obviously what we talk about on a regular basis, and if you pay attention, you'll know. You probably are answering the question for us. Oh, why didn't he say this and why didn't he say that? Because you guys either and or you've been paying attention. But generational wealth, financial freedom, assets, building your liquid. Your liquid as well as building your assets, your net worth is increasing, your value to a bank, credit scores, business. You are a business owner and you're building a business, and it goes as far as you take it. You're now an employer. You have employees because people are obviously going to help you in the process of the ownership of the property. If you're not doing everything by yourself, right? Sometimes you need staff to assist you with repairs, maintenance, accounting, anything, whatever it takes, right? Attorneys, realtors, all that good stuff, relationships, and I think the most important thing that ownership allows you without going to the monetary value of it is really just freedom. The overall freedom that ownership gives you is second to none. You know, Social Security, they say, is going to run out within a certain time, right? Retirements, you know, bank crises, they sometimes get depleted, right? Stocks are not predictable. Real estate is forever going to be a tangible asset, and it will always hold a value. And if you do it right, it will hold the value you paid for it, if not more. So to me, that's like why I'm so heavily invested in real estate. Literally my life is real estate. Everything I have, everything I own, everything, my future is based off of real estate and what I do with the portfolio that I'm blessed to have.
That's a fact, man. It's a fact. I go back to the small example, you know, that just Jerry said earlier. You know, you want to paint a wall pink, right? You either got to ask for permission, or when your lease is up, put it back how you found it, like a child.
Yeah.
All right. Put it back how I gave it to you. You
Yeah.
know, and they come back. I mean, you know, you skip all that. Skip all that. You know, you be the boss. You know, get a multifamily for your first property, and you let them know, you know, to put that make sure the property is how they found it before they leave. You know, it's just out here you want to own, man. I don't see why you couldn't. And all that stuff that, once again, what just Jerry was saying when he says you're building equity and you can use it to maneuver for another property. Talking about a HELOC. You got to sell the property, use a HELOC. Take the HELOC, put it down on another property, you know, and then here you go again. Now you got another property, and maybe you move out of that property, put somebody else in your place. Now that whole property is making money for you, and it's paying the HELOC. Now you got the second. I mean, listen, this is a snowball.
Burst strategy is relevant there as well.
Yeah, all that. If you get a beat up house and you want to put in, I mean, listen, guys, you know, once again, I don't want to sound biased, but we love the pros, you know, and think there's so many more pros to owning than there is to renting. But, you know, renting is necessary, and it is for, you know, a few categories of people. And that's why we gave you both sides. What we're talking about may not be for an 80-year-old. You know, what we're talking about may not be for the wealthy couple that their kids are off in college and they want to travel now and they don't want to worry about a property. You know, this is not for them. And I'd say right now, if you follow H.G.R.G, you know, I'm pretty sure this is for you. So make sure you understand those pros, you know, because there's a lot of them.
Sure.
You guys got any last words to say to them?
You go.
Yeah. You know, I would say there's a time and a place for either way, you know, renting, owning,
Absolutely.
time and a place, position for either way you go. To Jerry's point, yeah, it takes money to have that mentality or to be in the place where you have the option to do both, right? But when you don't have money and you're not in a situation where your credit is amazing, you know, renting is not a bad option to start off with, but just don't stay stuck there.
I agree with that statement. I agree. I say ultimately the decision of renting or owning is just depending on what you're doing. Do you want to live there for the future plans? Do you want to have a different lifestyle, or do you want a better situation? It's kind of up to you guys. So ultimately, it's up to you. Make sure you make the right place, make the right play, and live it to your fullest, like DT says.
Right.
That's it. You know, every day, man, every day. So listen, you know, from our mouths to your ears, you know, we appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in for another one, and we'll definitely see you on the next one.
Salute.
What they say? I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence